Howdy YouTube viewers across cyberspace. Thank you for tuning into the WatchBox review. And the WatchBox review today is going to go retro old school, and we're going to take a close look at the Casio G-Shock DW-004. So this watch here that you're looking at is about 11 years old. I bought it on my honeymoon when I was on Maui, and I used it free diving and snorkeling the time I was there. At that time. So this is a very old watch, and it still runs fine. It keeps great time. It's on its second battery, I think, maybe even third battery. But I do all my battery replacements. You unscrew the case back at the four corners with the screwdriver. You use silicone O-ring grease, and you re-lube the gasket, reset the movement on the inside, and you're good to go. So it's been a total trouble-free, worry-free watch in that past decade plus. So anyhow, let's get you some overall case measurements. What you're looking at here is a watch that's heavily modified, but I'll just give you overall case dimensions anyways. I guess from the rigid rubber strap area from end to end, it's about a good 63, 64 millimeters, but it is very flexible, so you can wear it pretty tight and it snugs your wrist. So 60 to 64 millimeter ballpark. The case width is about a little over 50 millimeters wide. Case thickness here, we're looking at about 15 millimeters thick. Okay, it's got these little flared, rubberized wetsuit, I forget what they're called, Wetsuit Protectors, I think what it is. It basically, I think it keeps your dive wetsuit from bunching up, I guess, underneath the strap when you pull it tight. But it's basically for style points, really. But it's a nice watch overall. So this watch here is a 200 meter water-resistant case pressure, and I wear it actively in and out of the water over the past 10 years, and it's been fine. Even though even though I've changed the batteries a couple times, it's still been perfectly fine. So let's see. Let me just cycle you through the modes here. So this is regular timekeeping mode that you're looking at. There's the alarm, countdown timer, and you start by pressing this button down here, and you can see the LCD display kind of zip past. Stop, and you reset. Whoopsie, here, resets over here. And this is the countdown timer on the G-Shock is actually one of its best features, I think. I use it for all kinds of stuff around the house. So. Let's see, cycling through the modes further. Alarm, timer, stopwatch mode. Anyone's familiar with this? Digital chronograph. Start, stop, reset. And the cool thing about the stopwatch feature on at least this issue of DW-004 is the start stop is down at the bottom right. Now I've had G-Shocks since 1984, 1983, and the earlier ones have always had start, stop down here at the bottom right and reset up at the top left. Now the current ones, they flip that over. So for me, still to this day, I have a hard time flipping this over and mentally making the connection that start, stop is up here. So I'm just used to being start, stop down at the bottom right, and one of the things that I like about it. So the cool thing graphically about this chronograph, like the countdown timer, you can see the LCD display zipping past. Pretty cool stuff. I like it a lot. And then once you get to this little sub-dial, I guess, over here, indicates 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 seconds past. So it's a lot of graphic display, graphic illustration here in this Casio movement module. So stop, reset, and alarm timer, stopwatch, and we're back into regular time mode. That's pretty much it. Anyone who's familiar with the classic G-Shock will be familiar with this. It's got a little bit more flair because you see all this LCD graphic presentation zipping past you when you look at it. Okay, so let's talk about the mods a little bit. First of all, the strap that is on here is not the original OEM strap. Originally, this watch came with like a fabric strap, and it was great. It was really comfortable, but it just fell apart. I mean, it didn't take long, too, actually. I wore this watch very actively on the mountain bike trails and in and out of the water, and so it just basically fell apart. So I just put this cheap, I don't know, what is this, Sears or whatever, strap on it that I found. One of these days, I'm going to get a real Casio strap and put it back on and get it going what it should be. I kind of like how it flares out a little bit. It gives the watch overall just a bigger, beefier look kind of on my wrist. So. But it's very comfortable nonetheless. So, the second thing you're looking at here is you're looking at a watch that I've blacked out with right dye. a common trick that G-Shock collectors have been using throughout the decades. Really, is just take the whole watch, take it apart, case by case, part by part. It's all basically soft rubber, and you just soak it in right dye, fabric dye, and it soaks up whatever color you want. So in my case, it started out. Oh, here, I can show you the before pictures. In my case, the watch started out all gray, basically around the perimeter, around the edge, and that entire bezel piece just comes off, and I went ahead and soaked it in right dye. And what you're looking at now is basically one that's been dyed. You'll also notice the G-Shock text has been blacked out. I can't remember how I did that. I think I just used right dye again and just soaked it. I may have used a Sharpie pen or a permanent marker too for that. So there you have it. Let's get a quick glimpse at the Electro Loom and show you guys what that looks like. Okay, so anybody who's familiar with digital LCD watches, you're going to be familiar with the sight of the glowing blue Electro Loom. And this is a pretty good example of it. It's actually almost too bright at night. If my eyes are dilated for night vision, and if I go bam and hit myself with that, I kind of have a little green or whatever square in the middle of my night vision if I'm not careful. So anyways, let's turn the lights back on and wrap things up. Okay, so I like this watch. It's super comfortable. It's really lightweight. Oh, you know what? I didn't give you a shot on the wrist. Here you go. Turn things around. Put it back on my wrist. And give you guys a glimpse of that. Okay, there you go. So there's the watch on my 60mm wide wrist. Light, comfortable, soft, super easy to wear. Still, even for 10, 15-year-old watch, I mean, it's got a lot of wrist presence on it too. I'm used to bigger, bolder, flashier watches from various other manufacturers, and still over the course of a decade, this watch still really commands a lot of attention when it's on my wrist. So anyhow, want to thank you guys for tuning into the WatchBox review, and this has been a retro review of the Casio G-Shock DW-004. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll catch you later.